Greetings, greetings, family. Sister Shanice here. And as you can see alongside me is Dr. Abu. Rise up, Dr. Abu. As always, absolutely fantastic, bombastic to have you in the house. How are you today?
Well, I give thanks for life. Wolipa Vodum, Vodum Daha.
Yes. Sorry?
The true spirit always present.
Oh, for real, for real. Voodoo back at you, Dr. Abu.
Looking good.
And family, when we say voodoo, when we are talking about the voodoo power, explain that voodoo a little bit, because we want everybody to feel the voodoo, What you say when you say voodoo?
Well, voodoo is not everything, but it's not everything in a voodoo.
Hey, unpack that for me, please.
All the African people have an essence of the voodoo in them, but because of the Wazongo, jurisprudence and school of thoughts, them hold it down dormant and them feel shame of it.
Wow.
Because it's not popular.
Overs, I understand, overstand, understand. So when we are saying the voodoo in a Halawi, but the Eurocentric education suppresses that natural voodoo spirit that we have. And most of us allow that suppression, not realizing that we're suppressing a part of ourselves. Wow, wow, wow. So when you say voodoo, it's like you're invoking that spirit, yeah? I like that. Rise up, Dr. Abu. Rise up.
Give thanks.
Yeah, give thanks, give thanks. The family is coming in the room. The family is coming in the house. Family, as you come in the house, please do give us the thumbs up on the like button. Hit that like button and give us a thumbs up, please. And drop us a note in the chat as well. Let us know who you are and where you are locked in from. I can see we've got Teddy Bear Feet in the house. Rise up, Teddy Bear Feet. He says, greetings once again, my family. I'm Black. Welcome, Black, my brother. And I can see we got Afro Jamo, who says, greetings, Sister Shanice, Dr. Abu, and all the African brothers and sisters worldwide. Voodoo. And I can see we've got Oak Network, YAD Productions. Welcome, welcome. They're saying give thanks. So drop us a note in the chat. Let us know that you're in the house. I can see 40 people in the house already. Fantastic. Please do give us a thumbs up. As you come in, we should have 40 likes already. Stretch Vlog in the house. Welcome, welcome. I had the privilege of being on their channel yesterday evening. Oh, what an enjoyable time I had. Rise yourselves up for the great works that you're doing there in Nigeria. They're saying, glad to be here, Sister Shanice. And Ukurulu. Yes, Yoruba language there. Ikurulu. I hope I've pronounced it right. And, True Essence, welcome True Essence. She's saying, greetings, family. Taiwo is in the house and says, greetings from London. Just tuned in, perfect time. This is going to be a treat. Thank you, Sister Shanice. You are welcome. And I thank all my panel as well, because they're going to make the show what it is. Rising up, Harry Cumberbatch as well. So family, join in the debate today. We've got a guest that's going to be joining us from Canada. Hopefully he will be logging on quite soon. I'm also expecting Prophet Maduti to be joining us as well. As you know, he always comes with his philosophical deep debates and his historical information. And then we also have joining us today Brother Jammers. And as you know, he's the one for the etymology of words. Is that it, Dr. Abu?
Yes. Brilliant.
Yeah. And family, if you want to hear more from Dr. Abu or Brother Jammers, or if you want to hear more from our Prophet Kwaku or myself, you can get us on the Big G Galaxy Afiwi, the only de-brainwashing station. And coming like we are going too good, because them hack our station. So if you try and search for us via Google, we're going to have problems. So you have to go through us directly through our website, which is www.galaxyafiwi.com. Afiwi means, or download the app. Yes, indeed. Yes, rising up, our brother Cole Grant in the house. He says, rise up, Sister Shanice and Dr. Abu. Yeah, man. Yes, we give thanks for everybody in the house. So, there's so much that we're going to be talking about today, and we really are in for a treat. Our brother Cameron, who's going to be coming on board, we had a discussion with him on my radio show earlier today, and wow, the phones were off the hook. People were just calling in, answering so many questions. It's a situation where you're going to have to unlearn everything that you've learned in order to even want to hear some of what our brother has got to say. So we would like you to listen objectively, and then once you've listened, to start asking some more questions and critiquing, because you know how we do it. We're interested in hearing different perspectives on things, because we are a people from a large continent, and we have fallen from great heights, and we're trying to recover our culture, recover our history, recover that knowledge of ourselves, and we all have a part of the information. All of us have something to contribute, and that's what I like about the Big G Galaxy Afiwi. Some are coming from a historical perspective, some come from a political perspective, some a cultural perspective, some a spiritual perspective. But when we put it all together, we're starting to fit the pieces together. So Dr. Abu, what's from what perspective do you particularly enjoy coming from on the Big G?
From a spiritual. Because when you come from a spiritual, and that incorporate your political, that incorporate your economic, it makes it complete.
Yes.
Understand? What you have to understand, that if we follow the European way, the European have a way we then call the African have a thing we call Jericho. When we start to see things from face value.
So there's Jericho and there's face value.
Yeah, no, that's what it means. We're looking at things on face value, not from a spiritual aspect. When we look upon it from being so, we are look upon it from a side view. When we look upon it from bolo so, we are look upon it from a behind source. But when we look into Sodai E, we look on a clear words from a spiritual grass, and that is what we lack. We lack Sodai E.
Why, Dr. Abu? Every time I listen to you, me hear something where me not hear before, and me learn something new. So when we look from Bakawi, we call it
Boloso.
So, and when we look from side,
Biniso. And when we look on it, as face value,
yes,
it's very so. That's the three principle that the European follow.
So when they analyze and critique, they do so on 3 dimensions. But we, being inherently spiritual now, we are looking at things from a universal perspective, because like you said, the spirit is in everything. So we are more holistic. Yeah. Interesting as always. Let me see what people are saying in the talk. So Taiwa is saying, we will need to unlearn all that we have learned. Love it. Yeah, rise yourself up, Taiwa. And Black Business Directory, great to have you in the house, saying greetings, family. Looking forward to this discussion. Dr. D, greetings and bringing peace and love to us all. And Afrijamo, nice outfit, thank you. Brixton Market. Yeah, man. And thank you so much. And we rise up all the family in the house. So what I'm going to do, as I wait for our guests to join us, I'm going to just remind us as a people, really, of, our greatness, our former greatness. And because this is so pertinent, I say former greatness, But it's just a reminder of how high we've fallen and how low, we are now. But what it means is that we can certainly, as a people, elevate ourselves back up again. So let me turn to my notes here. Yes?
We are not falling, we are not falling, sis,
We're just sleeping, maybe?
No. What I'm saying that we the man have us so high, we get high upon him thing that we forgot the grounding. We have to ground ourselves. If you're in pain, you go down to the ground.
That's right.
All of these that is not Africa. That's European. This one I say is a face value. That's why them dress up in all these material to catch you. So them dress up like some little thing just to catch our children then. Value.
Right. So family, some deep learning there. We have to, as a people, realize that we've probably been trained and indoctrinated to see things on a face value level. But when it comes to us as Africans, when we start to critique and when we start to analyze, we need to do so on a spiritual level, more holistically and more widely. And we have to stop looking at things at face value, because we will only see what's in front of us if we do that. But we've got to look beneath, and we've got to look, full circumference.
That's why I say you can't judge the book by the cover.
Yes, because there's always so much more under that cover. Yes. Rise up, Dr. Abu, as always. Okay, just going to run through some historical information. I've got here 100 things you didn't know about Africa, but obviously I'm not going to go through 100. I'm just going to go through a few just by way of opening, just to remind us as a people of our former greatness. When we say that we've been stripped of our culture and our history and all the rest of it, we know that. But do we realize the depth of it? So here we go, 100 things, but I'm just going to pull out a few. As I would imagine all of us actually know, the human race is of African origin. And there has been skeletons that have been found that go back. These have been found in Africa that date back between 4 to 5 million years. Okay, so we've been on the earth for at least 4 to 5 million years. Okay, now when you look at some of their research, I'll just touch on this. They're going to try and say that these were pre-humans. No, man, we are the original human beings. We are not descendants of apes or chimpanzees. We don't have ape or chimpanzee DNA in us. So let's not get it twisted. When the Europeans want to talk about the Darwin theory, I fit emptying that is not us as a people, but we will go into that some more, if not today, definitely another time. And did you know that we as Africans were the first to organize fishing expeditions 90,000 years ago? That we as Africans, we were the first to engage in mining 43,000 years ago? That we as Africans pioneered basic arithmetic 25,000 years ago? I'm telling you, family, if you don't know some of this factual information, then you're going to have to do more research, okay? This is the sort of information that we should be learning about ourselves at schools and in the education system, but we don't. Because, this isn't glorified. The education system that we're in today is a Eurocentric education system, which isn't about glorifying us as Africans. It's about glorifying them as Europeans, because basically it's their European structure based on, the world as they have set it out at the moment. So we have to do our own independent research if we want to know about our greatness as a people. So, yeah, we were pioneering arithmetic 25,000 years ago. And as Africans, we were cultivating crops 12,000 years ago. So when we talk about we as a people being stripped of knowledge of our culture, just imagine we had 12,000 years of historical knowledge that had been accumulated over all of those centuries. around how we do our crops. And that, you know, has all been wiped from most of our memory. But as Dr. Abu would remind us and have us, you know, to remind us, it's still in our spirit. That knowledge is in our spirit. We have to go into ourselves to find it. We as Africans, we were mummifying our dead 9,000 years ago. We were carving the world's first colossal sculptures 7,000 years ago or more. The Great Sphinx of Giza, for example, fashioned with the head of an African man, combined with the body of a lion. Just an example of our great colossal sculptures that we as a people had the skills and abilities to do. And I know that some of those skills still exist in the DNA of our people are here today, but it's, you know, tends to be put in effect at a smaller scale. And there's evidence as well, my family, that the oldest recognizable monarchy system as well in human history actually preceded the rise of early Egypt and existed in ancient Nubia in Africa. So we, you know, when you look at the kings and the queens today, and you're learning about maybe Henry VIII and Queen Victoria and all the rest of it, they're Johnny come lately compared to, you know, our monarchies, okay, that we ought to be learning about in the education system. But again, because it's not our education system, because it hasn't been fashioned around us and our needs, okay, and because it hasn't been designed to elevate us as Africans, that's why it's totally missing from their curriculum. So we have to do our own research, and especially if we've got children, we've got to do the research. We've got to bring the knowledge and the information to our children so they know how great they really are, because once they know how great they are, then the sky is the limit. Then we will be able to start changing the world as we see it. The ancient Egyptians, they had the same type of tropically adapted skeleton proportions as the modern Africans. What does that mean? It means that those anthropologists who for decades were trying to say that the Egyptians were Europeans or anything other than African, modern DNA testing proves that they are and they were Africans, the same as us today. Now, I know some of us are going to maybe later on be debating, you know, our whether we use the term African or not. But when I talk about Africans today within this context, I'm using it to describe us, melanated people here on the earth today. And did you know, and I actually saw this as well, that the ancient Egyptians had Afro combs? Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I went to one of the museums in Turin, which has a huge display of ancient Egyptian artifacts with them teeth. Anyway, there was the bedroom there of one of the queens, and she had her Afro comb. Some people not gonna like this, but they also had their wigs hanging up there as well. That's another story. So yes, they had Afro combs from way back. So when we're there with our Afro combs today and we think is anything new, that go back thousands of years. And the funerary complex as well that our ancient Egyptians actually built to the point where they call them funerary cities. The outer wall of one of the funerary cities in Egypt, they're saying, was the first to have built stone columns. You know, these wonderful columns that not the Egyptians, that the Romans and the Greeks tried to claim.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
it wasn't them teeth, it come from Africa. Okay, so there's so many more firsts that I could share with you, and maybe I'll go back to some of them. But my brother, Dr. Abu, when you hear about what we were accomplishing prior to our invasions, you know, what thoughts come to mind?
Well, as I said, you know, we don't need written things to give us a clear vision. We have to just go into ourselves.
Yes.
You know, I always say that I am one with nature.
Yes, yes.
You understand? Because that is what nature. You see, you hear them tell you that let us make man. No, no, no. That's the netters were talking. You know, the insect was talking to the tree and the water, and everyone come together in a council and said, "Let us put up a species, man and woman, and the planet." And they come to that. You know, and today too we are following the European. We start to call all the animals them. That one is evil, and the black cat is evil, and the snake is evil. That is Wazungu behavior, blood. You understand, you know?
Yes, I do. And this is, it goes back to what we were talking about, the difference between us being spiritual beings and spiritual people and those that just see things on face value and make a judgment of it. Because, you know, when we went to Zimbabwe, for example, we could be in the company of those animals and they didn't fear us. They were natural, they were okay with us in, you know, close proximity to them. But Mecca Wazungu come along. Wait, what happened, Dr. Abu? Tell them.
You see, sometimes if you pay attention to the tree, you know, the tree can tell us what's in the forest, you know. You never go to Gambia and see the elephant in the tree.
I did. The last elephant, they call it. Yes. If you look at the tree, you think you're looking at the elephant.
In the tree. You have trees that take the shape of even human form. Just to show you. This is not what Wazungu do. This is nature. Nature trying to show you its ability to do things. You understand? As I said, we are universal people. We are people of the universe. You understand?
Yes,
you know, but
indeed.
them have us tied up in some little nationalistic thing that they set up themselves. So if we follow their nationalistic behavior, we're blacking out the sun.
Yes, yes. Rise up, Sister Winnie in the house. She said she saw it also in the Cairo Museum. What was that? The Afro comb, or you see their wig then. Some people think so we just come the other day. This one says, Sister Shanice, Brother Jeff here. Rise up, Brother Jeff. Brother Jeff is one of our regular callers on the Big G, just like Sister Win. Rise up. What does he say? He says, we African stroke Al-Kabalans are not only gods on this planet. Check out the monuments on the Sidonian region on Mars. There is a face of a black man there. Yes, my brother, I've seen it. I've seen the image. So family, make a note. The Sidonian images on Mars. If you haven't seen it, take a look. Have you taken a look at that, Dr. Abu?
Yes.
Yeah, man. You know, sometimes people think that, you know, we just arrived here yesterday. And, you know, I see we've been joined by Prophet Maduti. Welcome, Prophet Maduti. Good to have you in the house. Yeah, man.
Anna the prophet. Anna all the time.
Yes. Yeah, so just about to say that sometimes, you know, we look at things as they are right now. But, you know, our history is so vast that there is still so much more to uncover about us as a people and who we really are and what we accomplished back in the days. And on a scientific level, there is evidence to suggest that we may have actually have been teleporting ourselves from here to other planets. Now, what do you think about that? Let's bring in Prophet Maduti. Rise up, Prophet.
Otep, greetings in the name of the creating force of the universe, the omnipotent being that which is greater than ourselves, who has many rooms. Oludu Marim Kulukulu, Kwame Blafa Ashe, Mungo, Amanra Ashe. Ashe. Yes, sis. I mean, I'm just my apologies for being so late, but due to work business and them thing, they get to a man if a fresh up on them thing, they can't present yourself to the world with paint on your face. You know the way there?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just in what you were just saying there, sis. the Dogons talk about that, about, you know, transporting themselves to different places and things like that. And you know, looking at the condition of our people today, people might think, oh yeah, but if they could do all of that, how comes this and that and all the rest of it? And we get all of that kind of thing that happens. But people have to look that we are the oldest people on the planet. We have the oldest DNA. Some of us might have alternative DNA because of through the mixing of the different groups. But in general, the Afrocoid is the oldest Homo sapien on the planet. There's nobody older than us.
That's right.
So even the oldest of any of the other groups is not older than any of us, because our DNA-wise, we're older than them. They may have been on the planet a lot longer than us individually, but in terms of our DNA structure, we're the oldest people on planet Earth. So it's not far-fetched. I mean, I had the pleasure of visiting Kemet 9 times. And I went to a place called Temple Filali. And in that temple, it's like on a little island. And in that temple, carved in stone, is helicopter. No matter how helicopter is the utensils that doctors use in surgery, carved on the wall.
Right.
And other things.
How many thousands of years ago would you know, do those carvings go back to?
Well, the conservative, well, I shouldn't say conservative, what I should say, the European dating system. Because the Europeans like to limit the date of the civilization of Kemet and what happened. But within their dating, you're talking about 2,500, 4,000 years ago, 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. This is not something that I'm making up. It's something what I saw with my own eyes. I took pictures of it, you know, but when they broke into my house and all them things, they stole a whole lot of stuff. So I lost some of those pictures. But they're there. People can go and see them. They haven't destroyed them already.
Right.
But it's all another theory as well.
At least 5,000 years ago, our people were flying helicopters.
Yeah. You know,
and back.
Sorry, go on, Doctor. The phone I got dead. Let me just plug it in. But on the carry on, hold on. We'll plug it in. Hold on.
Okay.
They even find batteries.
Yes. Talk it, Dr. Abu. Yes.
You know what I'm saying, that whatsoever they have, they never stole it. We give it to them. We give it to them in. You see, when the Moors them come in Europe, they give them a lot of things, blood. They give them a lot of things. You understand? And when them do that, they exclude the woman. We talk about all of these Moors, man. What happened to the woman then? What happened to the woman then? And that is what they have done. I'm saying they give them things on face value, but they couldn't give them things on spiritual value. And that is like European. Because the European is running off Urugo, Utamuwaso behavior, an incomplete spirit. You understand? Because you have to remember the Moors them that was in Europe, you know. They were more Arabs than African blood, that's the truth. They try to bring over the more Islamic way, that even where they're coming from, their Dogon principle. You understand? That is where it's bladed out. You understand? Because what you have to understand, when they start to respect people from the wealth that they have, instead of the piety that they have, that's where we go wrong. And that's what happened to Africa. If you look at most of the tribe, them, you gain respect through wealth.
Yes.
That's why Africa is in this state.
Yes.
That's why the European is behaving like that. Is what the people and what we are called the Moors is what they give them an incomplete spirit. All they give them is material things. They don't give them nothing more. That's why we're in this predicament. because they never take it and we give it to them.
I hear that, and we continue to give until this day. And you know, but the problem that we have, and one of the major problems as I see it today, is that we have a system which clearly has been devised by the Europeans for Europeans. So if you look at their education system, it promotes them, you know, elevates them, gives us the impression that they're the superior ones and we're the inferior ones. If we look at the economic system that they have devised, that the whole world has bought into, it puts them on top. And the minute the African governments or the African countries appear to be catching up, what do? They call a pandemic, lock down everybody's economy, stops everybody from trading, so that they can get rich again, you know, as they get all of the money from the public purse transferred over to their private pharmaceutical companies to do all of this pseudo research. So politically, educationally, economically, you know, it's all about elevating them. And then we buy into all of this without critiquing it, without actually thinking about, hang on a minute, is this actually best suited for us as Africans, or should we have our own education system that actually prepares us as a people to be the best that we can be, as, you know, we were back in the days? Or you know, shouldn't we change the economic system so it's one that is fairer to all, you know, not the capitalistic one, which is just designed really to, you know, make the corporations rich. So much work that we need to do. When you look at where we were and the great heights from which we have fallen, Prophet Maduti, what can we do you think, you know, to get ourselves back up to the heights that we have fallen from?
You know what, my sister, my beautiful brother, the language that we're using, I'm just like the Rasta man them though. I try to change the narrative. I try to observe certain cultural practices that happen in Africa. It's not all the African cultures we're dealing with wealth in terms of, you see, wealth in traditional African sense is different than wealth in a Eurocentric sense. In traditional African sense, in some different African cultures, it's no use that you're wealthy and your neighbor is starving. That's not wealth. True wealth is that you are wealthy enough to make sure that the people around you has the same standard of living. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes.
And so it's not all of the different cultures is like that, but quite a few were. And so there's a story of a king, an ancient Cometian king, that asked a farmer for advice about a particular subject. And this is written in the annals of Cometian culture. So it shows that, and there's even a Cometian saying that says, be not arrogant because of your knowledge. Seek counsel with the ignorant as well as the wise. For the limit to knowledge has never been set and no one's ever reached them.
True.
Yeah?
Yes.
Knowledge is precious than emeralds and diamonds and gold. Yet you can find it with the women that gather at the grindstone. So anywhere in life we can learn from.
Yes.
A lot of mishaps, and you know, me always try to come back to the time factor, because when you deal with it with time, then you overstand in and around circumference, radius, hectagon, triangle, parallelogram stand, or we end up where we're there. We did not end up in the situation that we find ourselves in a blink of an eye. It was probably a blink in a billion eyes. You understand what I'm saying? Because history is best qualified to reward our research, as our elders quoted. And when you study the history of Africa, from southern to the north, from the east to the west, and the central, we were always developing. We were always developing. You know, always developing. You know, a lot of people talk about the great pyramids of Giza and the first pyramid of Saqqara built by the great multi-genius Imhotep, but you have more pyramids in the areas that they call Sudan down to Ethiopia than you have actually in Egypt. They're not as strong as the stone ones, but there's many of them. There were more in Nubia before they built the Aswan Dam. You understand what I'm saying? But equally, we had that type of technological know-how with the Benin city, the city of Benin, with the wall. The city of Benin wall was about 16,000 kilometers. That's like 3-4 times the size of the Great China Wall. You understand me?
Yeah, man.
So, you know, what do we do to get back there? I think Dr. Abu touched on it. That what we gave them was just the material things. We didn't give them the fullness. Like, as I'm saying in the Caribbean, we never give them the full 100 in terms of spiritual, conceptual, of how to interact with things. And when we were speaking earlier, sister, one of there's also a theory, because one of the, what do you know why they call the pyramids one of the 7 wonders of the world? Because they're wondering how they do it. And the reason why they're wondering how they do it, because no civilization, neither African, neither present day African civilization or any other group has been able to replicate those pyramids in the way that it's been replicated. You know, the Great Pyramid of Giza, there's so much stone it could go around the earth twice. That's the amount of stone that's in there. If you chop it up, it can go around the earth.
That again, please, Prophet. Right? What did you just tell us there?
The Great Pyramid of Giza, with the amount of rock stones and thing, if you chop it up and thing like that and put it right, it could go around the earth twice.
Wow.
Like the circumference of the earth. Yeah?
Wow.
It's once or twice. I read it there somewhere, but it's definitely more than once. And you know, some of the inner stones on that is like 50 tons. Like, you know what 50 tons is?
50-ton stone weight. How were we doing that?
Carved perfectly in a cubic form.
Yes.
Constructed like a puzzle. You know, you put a puzzle together without no cement. Without no cement, you know. No cement.
Yeah, man.
But what's more interesting about it is that the stones actually come from some 400 or 500 miles upriver from the south.
Family, are we getting this? Are we really taking this in? I mean, we can only marvel.
One second, Sister Shanice.
No, I'm listening, my brother. I'm listening.
1 second, I just want to drop this one as well.
Yeah.
So one of the theories of how they did it, one of the theories is, and you touched on it earlier, you're saying they were dealing with telepathy. Yeah. They reckon that they probably did levitation. Vibrations and levitation, and brought it downstream.
Wow.
So these are all things that, you know, because they're trying to all the other way with all the mechanism and the things them have. Them can't, them the stone them put them in a ship. The ship sink. You understand what I'm saying?
So the weight of those individual stones. Rise up, Brother Jammers. Welcome on board. I think I'm getting some feedback from your phone, though, you know, my brother. I don't know if you've got anything else on in the background. If you have, please turn it off. Okay. I don't know if you've got maybe a radio on or maybe the microphone from another device. We might have been picking that up. Well, welcome on board, Brother Jammers. So, you know what, my brother, you talk about levitation. I was in one of Brother Andrew Muhammad's events, online events quite recently, and he was looking at some of the images on the that's been carved into the stones, carved into the walls of Egypt. And there are images of what appear to be Africans sitting on mats which are off the ground. So when we talk about levitation, what were we doing? You know, when we watch Aladdin, where they get that from?
Forget about Aladdin.
Kind of knowledge
Forget about it.
I'm talking.
No. I'm going to show you something.
Go on.
Present day. There's a little a magician guy. What him call himself again? A kind of Asian magician guy. He goes around the world and he does all these things. And he did one of the things that he did was in Brazil, in Rio. He did a levitation, and people was watching him. He actually levitated. Now there are African spiritualists. There are Indian spiritualists that can do levitation. That's nothing new.
Right. So and where did you get that from?
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? So the possibilities of that actually transpiring is definitely there. And there's things that they hide from the populace.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying to you? They hide a lot of things from the populace. And for those people who's watching and think say, oh, these people are on some fictitious thing. I'm a Trekkie. I love Star Trek. And I always remember one of the things I loved about Star Trek is that when you walk to the door opened automatically.
Yes, open sesame.
That's a reality today.
Yeah.
We had those powers.
We had those powers. I believe we had those powers, you know. Let me just bring in here a couple of comments because people are on the same page. Brother or sister, the Judge Head 76 says, correct, Brother Maduti, our Asians had the control of frequencies. This is how we move great monoliths. This is why we need to decalcify our pineal gland to activate our dormant powers. Absolutely on the same page as you, Brother Judge Head there. Jammers, welcome Black, my brother. Welcome to the discussion. I don't know if you heard the earlier part, but please feel free to jump in. What say you about what we've been discussing so far?
Well, this is it. We have this nature, you know. Already we have the capacity to do things other don't do. Look at all the trauma that we've been through. We're still holding our hand out. Nobody has the feeling that we have. Look how we outperform anyway in anything that we endeavor to be. Put one of us into their arena and we outperform them. So we have this capacity in us, but we've just been using our energies in the wrong way. Imagine if we, instead of playing in all of their arenas, the football, the music, the boxing, the fashion, if we put our energy to raising a nation, how powerful our nation would be. You know, so I'm just going to let them carry on and I'll come in a bit later on. But it's fantastic.
Rise up, Brother Jammers. Thank you so much. So let's go over to the chat, and you know, this is the regular panel that we've got here, the Big G panel. We've got our guest that I'm still waiting for to arrive. Hopefully he will. As I said, we were having a really interesting discussion with him on the show earlier today. He was definitely looking forward to this evening's event live on YouTube. He's going to be joining us from Canada. I know there's a 5-hour difference. Maybe he's calculated the hours wrong, but certainly hope that he will be joining us soon. But otherwise, we will be going over some of the key things that he highlighted and shared with us today. So let's see what we've got in the comment section. So we want to rise up Miss Good, who says, yes, our elders in Ghana are still flying at night to attend meetings. We've got some powers, family. We've got some powers. And, you know, that's why it's so important for them to put us all through their miseducation system. Because whilst we are sitting in their education system, they dumb us down to the point where, you know, we even lose all faith and confidence in our own self and our own people. And that is the aim, to a large extent, of their education system, to fool us into believing that they are the great almighty ones and we are the stupid inferior ones. So, you know, this is what it's about. So we're touching today on, you know, how great, you know, we are and were as a people. Dr. T says, let's stay on track. The question is, how do we move forward in life to regain our rightful position? Enough of the lecture. Can there ever be enough of the lecture? We sit down in their education and miseducation system for 15 years getting lectured, and we don't hear anything from them that's going to elevate us. And that's why
Can I address that, Sister Shanice?
Kofa, we have to go back. Come in, Prophet Maduti, you want to address that question?
You know, one of the things that I detest the most is people want to tell African people why we lecturing so much. But these very same people go to university and sit down and watch white people lecture to them to get their degrees. You understand? You see, one of the things that me, Kuumba, and Ni Kojo coined a phrase when we used to do our show on our Nubian Forum People's Talk Show on Parajan. Everybody is at a different learning curve. So what you may know, Mr. D, somebody else is quite ignorant of it. So this is why stuff are repeated, because there are millions of us as Africans who don't know certain things. I come in here every week and learn something new. My daughter can teach me something new. You understand? So, you know, this stuff, stop lecturing. I agree with you. Stay on point. Yeah. But that part there that you come with, beloved, if you're one of us, about, oh, stop lecturing, is quite arrogant. Because you know the thing, you feel everybody else know it. Everybody else don't know it. Some people ain't even left the country to go nowhere. Some people never left London in their life. So when people are trying to impart information, maybe I'm not, you know, as knowledgeable as you in certain things, and you're probably far ahead of me. I can learn something from you, no problem. But not everybody knows certain information. You'd be surprised the millions of Africans don't know one quatty about me go Africa, you know, and I have to tell them about where them live. And them tell them because the system that runs those places is not their own system. Unless they're amongst traditionalists and they get certain rites of passage, they don't really know about their own story, which is our story. You understand me? There's still Africans in the Caribbean believe say it's Europeans' freedom. You understand me? I say them don't even know about Taki and Nan, the two Nan and them, the one about Barbados, the one at Jamaica. Them don't know about Bookman, Dessalines. Them don't know about them people there, you know. You understand me? I say. So don't take it for granted that people know. The objective of this show is to have a discussion. Oh, you know, go to all the other YouTube people them and tell them for stop chat. You understand? I where me I come from, you know. I come from Shanice and Jammers, you know. And then we have our community work that we do. We're not those people who just come here for talk. Yeah? We're people who are active in our community, doing active community work. You understand me I say? So I don't really want anybody come try disrespect with them way there. I'm throw a fire upon them. So hold the fire there and his love me and send the fire with. So it not burn you, it not go burn you, just go warm you up. Yeah? You know them way there.
So we just a little warm up round here. So we I say make Jammers come in.
But how do we go forward?
Yes, we come around to that.
Go on, Jammers.
Jammers.
European Jammers.
Well, if you look at the word lecture, it means to pick and gather. It means to pick and gather words. If we don't pick and gather words, how are we going to get together in the first place?
We look at which word was that?
The word lecture, it means to pick and gather words. So if we don't communicate, how are we going to get together? The first thing, if you look at Amos Wilson, was the falsification of the African mind. This was done via words. I'm not here to just talk. Basically, we have been trapped by the very words that the Westerner has put in our mind to make us think in a way that he wants us to think. So we're breaking down the program. We're breaking down the program that's making us think like a Westerner for our own destruction. So we need to break down the codes to get back to our ancient, like the code of God is what what Dr. Frankenstein is, what Dr. Frankenstein has used to turn us into the monster is the code of God. God is not an African word, but we're holding this word, what we're talking about in the lecture, to break down these words, to get back to our ancient African sounds so we can vibrate at these frequencies to perform the miracles that we can perform. Because once again, as I said, we are oracles. We have the awe of Ra that we can call spiritual beings into activity. But we're held by this God word and we're held by this spiritual word. So we have to break down these. We're held by the word religion. None of these are African words. So this is why we lecture, to pick out the words that can vibrate us to our highest frequency.
Rise up. And as you know, our brother is one of the wordsmiths in the house. Dr. Abu, would you like to jump in here?
Well, I said, we have to reason, because a lot of things that we get caught up in when we join their secret society. You understand? Look at this. Mason. Till it all become Freemason. When them take it from the Dogon, it was Mason with the feminine principle in it. You understand? When they take out that, why we are in this predicament is because what we are following doesn't have no feminine energy in it. It's just a masculine, and that's all the Moors them give to the European, masculine energy. You understand? We hear about Mr. Moore. Where is Mrs. Moore? You understand what I'm saying? And this is thing that we have to understand and fully understand ourselves. You understand that all of this thing is coming from West Africa, what we call the center. Because a lot of people don't understand where the Congo there at the center, that's where the source. And the source will move to gravitate to, and it move right out. You understand? Those people were coming from like the Songhai Empire. But when they link up with the Arabs, they start to diss all the woman blood. You understand? And this is what we don't look on. We can't even go back to Hannibal and see who betraying. These are the betraying of our people, or we betray one another for other people. You understand? So for us to move forward, we can't go forward without our woman and the principle of our woman. You understand? And this is where we are today, because we're there amongst some set of people. You understand? We not deal with no woman blood. They're not in that. You know, see that man them in. You know, see that we follow them, and we just get gridlock. You know, so we in a gridlock state blood. You understand? And we have to go back to the source. Go back to that womb energy. You know, because we are universal people, blood. That's who we are, universal people.
Yes, we are indeed. And I'm getting messages to say that our special guest for this evening should be logging on quite soon. So keep it locked. He's trying to log on to join us, because then, we're just going to be taking it up another level. But remember, as our Prophet and Dr. Abu and Jammers was saying, absolutely agree with them. Let's not undermine the importance of talking and the importance of having a discussion and a debate. Why do I say it's so important? Because the words that we speak, as Jammers was saying, forms pictures in our mind, and anything that we do starts from the mind first and foremost. So if your mindset is wrong, then you're not going to be able to realize your greatness. So this is why our history is so important, and why sometimes I think it's important for us to go back and look at what we managed to accomplish as a people thousands of years ago. Because if we were cultivating farmland, for example, tens of thousands of years ago, what level should we be on now when it comes to cultivating the farm? Should we even really be entertaining this narrative that we as Africans don't know how to farm? If we were building huge, colossal buildings, equivalent of 40 stories high, thousands of years ago. Why are our people not building 80, 160-story buildings today? Is it because we don't know, or many of us don't know, that we had the knowledge, the scientific, mathematical, and other knowledge of how to do that? Don't you think that if our children and our young people had that knowledge, they would then be using it, you know, to be more creative and more inventive and innovative? So that's why it's so important to look back, because as I said, the Eurocentric education is designed to dumb our minds down. It's designed to give us the impression that we never have done, so therefore never will do. But what we've got to do through words, what we've got to do through talking, is to wake up that mind, to wake up the sleeping giants, to wake up those among us, to come again with those great ideas. We used to carve temples out of mountains and etch the images of our people into those mountains. Yeah, we were elevating, as our brother was saying, rocks that weigh how much ton? You know, can we even elevate a stone today? So unless we know in our mind that we have the capability and the ability to do such things, we wouldn't even think of doing it. So that's why talk is so important, because it frames our mind, and from what we've got in our mind, so a man thinketh, so he doeth. So if we think we can do great, we will do greatness. If we think we can't do, we won't do. So, you know, just want to add that to the whole idea of the importance of words. Come in, brother Jammers. Take yourself off mute. Jump in, my brother.
Well, basically, we've been taught to use words like swords to cut each other down to size. That's why we get texts like this. It's the training that we've been given to bring each other, to cut each other down. We've been taught to debate, but we haven't been taught to communicate and use words to vibrate us up to a higher level.
Right.
But especially with the religion. Look at the word, look at what they give us. They give us aversion. What does aversion mean? Vert means to turn in Latin. When you avert your eyes, that means you turn away. Right. Divert means to move away. Introvert means to turn inwards. Extrovert means to turn away. So averse means to dislike. Just look the word A-V-E-R-S-E. Put it down. It means to dislike. So basically, when we're given aversion, it means we're given a dislike of our higher nature. Because once again, we had the Medu Nature. We work with the Medu Nature. Their mentality is to look at it as the book of death, because they celebrate death. So everything they talk about or vibrate is to do with destruction. So they've taken our higher knowledge, made an aversion, which means a dislike against it. Look at the word verse, V-E-R-S-E. When you decode the word verse, you got S-E-V-E-R. Say it again. V-E-R-S-E is verse. When you decode it, you got S-E-V-E-R, serve. So just like a film in a script, once you learn somebody's verses, you play the role that they've given you to play. Also, we've learned to take in language as a receptive manner. Receive means to take it in, to yield. So we've been taught words like a dog. So we respond to a sound. We haven't been taught words in a proactive way. So we use critical thinking. So this is another way that we explained everything at school. Explain, exit somebody you leave, so you leave it plain. So when you explained everything, all you can do is complain about everything. We need to go back to trivium, which is to look at words in a way we critique, we speak, we analyze, and we elevate. So this is what we're doing. Thank you.
Rise up, brother Jammers. So let's have some words of elevation and let's practice that. Because if we all elevate each other, then basically we are lifting up our race. We're lifting up our people. And if we're lifting up others, then others will lift us up as well. Let me bring in Prophet Maduti again. Come in, Prophet.
Yeah, you know, every time I hear my brother Jammers speak about words, you know, he's got the articulation of the English language down to a T, and I always learn something from him, you know. But I want to go forward to the question that was asked: how do we elevate ourselves out of the conditions that we find ourselves? Let me make this very clear so that the whole world know. At no point in the history of this planet have we been ever under anybody.
True blood.
Even in the worst conditions that them find us in or them put us in, we have always managed to rise above adversity.
True.
We are the ones who created the first car. We are the ones who created kettle. We're the ones who create iron, the filament in the light bulb. We're the ones who, most of these mechanisms that you use for hardware work, that a lot of people have improved upon, is inventions by Africans who was in captivity. You understand? POWs. Yeah, prisoners of war. You understand me I say? So at no point, because we have to create these things to make life easier for we. You understand me I say? So when we have to remember saying all them tractor and all them things there now, you would have believed that them invented. Them never invented because them never have to do the work, are we? You understand me I say? Right? So all of the, remember, you know, for 500 years, we were the labor force of their economy. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, yeah.
Carter G. Woodson write a book, The Miseducation of the Negroes. I call it The Miseducations of the Africans.
Yes.
We need to read them books. How do we go? So when the person was talking, when the question is how do we go forward? No, we just continue in the vein that we're going. The very system that we're using now is directed by a GPS system. It's a black woman invent that who live in the United States of America. You understand? The internet that we're using, the mathematical equation to make it possible for computers to talk to computers, is a man called Philip Emeagwali, a Nigerian mathematician. You understand? Right? So when people are right now, with the brother there in Jamaica, we have named Harlow something. Anyway, Harlow, the brother invent a car that can drive with water.
Oh yes.
Water. Imagine a car where you don't need petrol, or just water. That's never ending because water don't end. We drink water, right? We urinate it out. You ever somebody say you boil water, it turn in a steam, it go up there, it recycling in the universe, turn in a cloud, rain come again. It will put petrol people out of business. Bougainville in Australasia there, off of the coast of Papua New Guinea. Right? Decades ago, car, right, created fuel out of coconut oil. To run car. Yeah, how many people know that? These are all Africans, all black people, not white. The very mechanisms that they use to suppress us in terms of weaponry, laser-guided missiles, is a Ghanaian inventor invent that. So when the three woman them, mathematician woman them, who NASA did have imply, if it wasn't for them, they would have never get a spaceship out of the atmosphere. So there's nothing about when are we gonna rise. No, it's when are those of us who has the skill is gonna use it, right, to help our own people. There is no invention, no organizational, no structure that is running now that never have an African inside of it. Whether them created it are they insisted in the creation or the development of it? What it is, we're not doing it for ourselves.
That's right.
That's what the problem is. The problem is not our creativity, as the correct word was used earlier. That's never our problem. My daughter, you know, she come show me one look at animation thing. I couldn't even believe some look at animation thing and she use different voice and she showed me this little thing. It was so amazing. She's only 10. Imagine if she enhances that. You understand? The kind of conversations that I've with my 10-year-old, I don't have that with big people. So there's no when are we gonna rise? We've never fallen. We just dip on pause. You understand me? I say, and we just have to press the play button, yeah, and start get things moving. But we've always been at the edge of science and technology. We've always been there. You understand?
Yes, for real.
No time. No time. Where the brother there? Nobody can find him. The brother who met the car. There's a guy in Nigeria who does something to do with water, a vehicle that can go up on a glide and land and glide upon water. What do I deal with? All it is that we have to re-Africate our minds.
Yes.
Because what happens is that what they've got is our minds. This is what the war is for. War ain't for materialism. The war is for the minds of African people, the melanated people. Once we get our minds right, it's like what our eminent prophet, His Excellency Marcus Mosiah Garvey said. Right? Think black, buy black, and everything else will take care of itself.
Rise up, prophet. Everything you said, beautifully put there. You know, I would just add, you know, and compliment what you say by, you know, saying that also the war is for total power and total control of the universe, of the world. It's about world domination and world control, and to utilize, as you're saying, our creativity, our knowledge, and our skills for their benefit, to help them with their agenda to control the world. And that's why, as you say, we've got to Africate everything. And for me, what that means is that if we've got an African-centered mindset, then what we create, what we develop, we will be looking to take that to Africa. We will be looking to see how it could be used to benefit Africa and Africans. We wouldn't be looking to take it to America or to Canada to get their bit of color paper so that, you know, they can use it to fire missiles back at us. You know, we will be looking to utilize our inventions for the benefit of our people. And that really sits outside of the way that society is structured. Remember, the society that we're in is a Eurocentric society, meaning they have structured it. They've structured the education system, the economy, the political structures, the industrialization, you know, even the way we think, philosophy, psychology. They've structured everything. There's some banging going on somewhere. If it's where you are, can you please put your phone on mute? Thank you so much. Yeah, so thank you so much. And so they structured society. So the society that we have been born into wasn't created by us, wasn't structured by us. It was structured by them. And we are in the society that they have created to benefit them. So in everything that we do, we're doing it and it benefits them. But what we've got to somehow do is to realize that we have to extrapolate ourselves out of their system and start doing for our race and our communities. Okay, now that's what the Chinese have successfully done. They've extrapolated themselves from the Western society, and they are doing for self, like the Indians have recently managed to do. Extrapolate themselves from the colonial society and start doing and building for themselves. So if they have geniuses, and if they have inventors, and if they bring about creators, those inventors and geniuses and creators not run into Wazungu for bits of color paper to give them their skills and talent. They're utilizing it for the benefit of their people, and that's absolutely what we've got to do. Let me bring in Brother Jammers. Thank you for my patience. Rise up, Brother Jammers. Let me flash up our speaker in the meantime. Come in, my brother.
Yeah, just to bring in science to back up what both of you have said here, Dr. Abu. Science says that everything revolves. Everything revolves. Re means to go back, recall, remember, renew. Volve is the Latin word for turn. So everything goes back to its original state. This is what they're trying to stop us from doing, going back to our original state. You've got to stop going forward and draw back. Forward means going forward. A ward is a place of care. This has been our problem. We're going forward to get a reward, to be kept in their systems. So we need to draw back our energy and use our energy to build our own nation. So this is the key element in relation to how they've held us in their belief systems. So we've held all our energy has been held in a state of belief. In the religion systems, religion means to hold back. So a belief system is where you can no longer manifest anything for yourself, and you're giving your power away to somebody other than yourself. Belief leads to faith. Faith leads to fate. Fate leads to fatal. Fatal leads to fatalism. And fatalism is the belief that it's going to happen anyway. There's nothing I can do about it.
Wow.
Our original state was another thing. We've got to stop making everybody else mighty. We make the almighty. We've got to make ourselves mighty. This is the key element. We are the knowers. We need to go back to that state of knowing and not believing. If you're at the start of the movie, you know how the movie, you know what happened, what the movie's about. These people have come halfway through the movie. So all they can have is a belief system. Our problem is we've left our knowing state, which the woman is the mother of knowing. She's the first scientist. The family is the knowing of how to cultivate and rise our nation. We've left our state of knowers and we're following beliefs now. So we're now believers instead of knowers. And this is what's held us back. So we need to, it's not hell. We need to leave the held state and get back to who we really are. And the young stars are the ones who are now coming forward and going backwards to go forward. Thank you.
Wow, rise up, Brother Jammers. As always, dropping those huge bombs for us to just meditate over. Thank you so much. As you can see, family, we've been joined by our brother Cameron. I'll just give you a moment to set up Cameron. But before I bring you in, let's bring in Dr. Abu. A lot has been said, Dr. Abu. Please feel free to comment on anything that's been said.
We all, both man and woman come from woman blood. Yeah. And every fruit that we eat come from a tree that is rooted in the ground. You understand, you know? So what I'm saying that if we doesn't have a respect for that feminine energy, we ain't going nowhere. You understand? If you go and you look at Marimba Ani, she do a book called Urugu. And part of Urugu downfall is because he lacked the feminine energy. Incomplete. And this is what happened in Europe today. We're following an incomplete system, an incomplete set of people. You understand? And we have to get back to that principle, blood, because without that principle, our children gonna be here in the next 50 years. I wonder what go on. And what really what go on, them turn the woman into a damn holy ghost. Simple as that. We have to be real here. We got to be real and realize that you can't build no society or nothing without the woman. You know, see, the only people them that is doing it is these messed up people. What I'm saying that the lineage of an African child always link with the mother. Always link with the mother. This father business is a European thing, and that's why you find that a lot of European out there, them have children, but they never father them because they just go around and thief people children. You know, they use laws. You understand? But within the laws, if you look at legality have a thing called expediency. That means that morally is not right. And this is what we have followed. We have followed things that is not morally right, blood. And that's why we're in this predicament. You understand? We got to go back to that twin-tail principle. You understand? You know? I read this book, Journey of the Song-Eye People. And when we were to realize the principle that those people were establishing, then we will realize that we're far from who we are today. We're far from who we are. We have degree, but sometimes we are 360 degrees away from ourselves. Simple as that. So
Vudum, Dr. Abu, rise up, rise up. Thank you so much for that. Wonderful, wonderful. And let me take this opportunity to welcome our guest, Cameron Bay. Welcome.
Peace and love, everybody. I apologize. I thought it started at a different time, and I'm all mixed up. So I apologize for my time. And I'm not even preaching to a choir because we're all black, we're all alike, so we have our own clocks inside. So I apologize, honestly, I really do. I shouldn't be. It's unprofessional. It's unprofessional. All right,
You're forgiven. You're forgiven. We've got about 45 minutes left. We normally only 2 hours. We've got 45 minutes left. Just means we'll have to have you back another time, this time on time, because, you know, we have our audience, some of whom would have heard you on the show earlier today and are back with us because they want to hear more from you. But for those who maybe missed the show earlier today and are just locking in now, I wonder if you could please just introduce yourself to us, Brother Cameron.
My name is Cameron Richards Bay. I am one of the visitors or advisors of the Moorish Science Consulate. I'm also the senior owner of the Morehouse Law Office in Toronto, Canada, known as North America. And I've been doing that job for about we're going on 9 years now. And I started that job, or that career, actually. Like if you were to ask me 10 years ago, what are you going to be doing in 2020? I tell you one thing, it wouldn't be a law office. So I went through some stuff, some tribulations and some evolving myself. And while evolving, I ended up finding out a lot of truths about a lot of things on the planet. And even though my mentor told me this, he said that we still have a bigger problem on the planet. And I said to him, what's that? He said, we're fighting against each other. And no matter how much we come into something that that's knowledgeable or has knowledge to it, because we fight against each other so much, we forget about it and then leave it to just sit there and not really grow as the knowledge is really there. What I'm saying is that what he taught me is that we're all one, but we're too busy right now arguing over what are we and which one are we. When he told me this, he said, we're all of them. So stop looking for the one, look for the all, and then you're going to see the one. So my mentor taught me this, and this is coming from an ex-European judge. Okay, he left the courtroom and the courthouse because he's seen the corruption that's coming, and he's seen all of this. You see this COVID-19 stuff. He's seen all that coming, and I caught him at a good time because he retired, and he wanted to. He's like one of those whistleblowers, so he wanted to show the world or show somebody something. And lucky for me, I stumbled on this information and who I am. I wouldn't say by luck or fluke. I think it was destiny, because I think I was being trained and groomed from a young man and a teenager about this. I went to court for a court case, and I actually won my cases. And I'm not somebody that's supposed to win a case. If I was to show you my history, you'd be saying, yeah, you're not supposed to be winning no cases. But when I won my cases, I ended up winning 50 more cases in that same year. And I was like, what? And I didn't go to law school. I didn't go to no kind of platform for you to learn law other than me going to my mentor. And that's the judge. And he showed me everything about the system. And because of who I am and who we all are, when you take something that you're able to master it and then use it in any kind of way that you can, and every way that you will, that's what I learned. And the stuff that he showed me, including the history, I really got a grip of it and ended up opening up my own office, the Morehouse Law Office. And from that, we ended up having the Indigenous North America Republic consulate here in North America. To all y'all know it as Toronto, Canada. And I've been doing that for, like I said, 9 years. And in that journey, we've gotten more than, well, about 1,000, 3,000 people to naturalize and have a trust and understand the history about this. Yes, it is a Moorish thing, but when I talk about it, I don't come from a Moorish angle in that fashion. And the reason why is because, like my mentor said, a lot of our people are fighting against each other, and that's including the Moorish Science Temple of America and their own people. So I ended up going all around all of that and opening up the Republic and having the consulate and fulfilling what our ancestors left us back in 1928. And my mission is to make sure that all African descendants know that we still hold the title of the all-lodial title to the lands of America and Africa. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with continents having titles, just like how a house has a title, a car has a title, and so on and so on. So does the lands, so does continents. And back in 1928 with Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey, I'm not going to leave Marcus Garvey out of this because there's a reason why he's famous. Back in 1928, was able to go get the all-lodial title and file it in Chicago. It's unfortunate today in 2020, Moors and people who know this information are sitting back and watching the plays go down in the world. I'm not that person. So I've changed. I corrected myself, not changed, but I corrected myself, and I see the woes. It's not a negative though. Don't take this as a negative. It's something that needs to be fixed, but it's something that can be fixed later. What we need to do is to understand what property is and what is private and public. You have to understand that you're living in a world of commerce, and that commerce has made us debtors when really you're the creditors. They're only doing it and they're only getting away with it because everybody's under a spell. It's called spelling. They could have called it anything else in the world. They could have called it words, which they do now, but it's called spelling first. And because the people are under spells on a daily basis, they don't even know that they're under a spell. Even when you're reading simple words that are regular that you know about every day. Like, let me give you an example. Like, when you want to greet somebody in the top of the dawn, you say good morning. You just know. Did you know you just cursed me, or you told me something that has nothing to do with the time of day or even what we're talking about. But the intention's real. The intention's real. That's the best beauty about our people, is that our intentions is perfect. It's on point. So I've taken the duty.
Oh, can you just explain why good morning is actually a curse for those who may not know?
Oh, because here's a rule of words. Number one rule of words. Words do not have triple and double meanings. They don't. Okay, that breaks the spell of all. If you know what I'm talking about, that breaks all the spells around you, because words do not have triple and double meanings. Because we think words have triple and double meanings, we think that morning has to do with the daylight or top of the dawn, when morning comes from somebody who cries or who's to mourn at a funeral. Now, I know that they used to bury people in the top of the dawn when people died. Yes, a long time ago, they would bury them right at the top of the dawn. But it doesn't mean that because of social engineering, we've used the word as mourning. You might as well told me to F off. You might as well have said that, because that's what you're saying. I'm not going to a funeral. And why you wish that I go to a funeral? So
there's someone in the chat who said that Black Business Directory writes itself up. They said words that sound the same but have different meanings, like morning and morning. When you say good morning, it sounds exactly the same as good morning.
No, see the way the words are spelled, because the vowels. Because one thing that people don't know or are not familiar with, and they don't really teach this in school, is that vowels are transit in and out of the words. So you can spell color, C-O-L-O-R, and then put U in it. It's still color, right?
Yeah.
It's not color or color. It's still color.
Yeah.
Everybody will pronounce it. If you read the word, you can say color.
Yeah.
So it's not morning or morning. As long as the sound is the same pitch. It's just like a guitar. It's not going to play a different note. You're going to play A, B, C. It's going to be the same vibration.
Yes.
For ancient times.
Yes. Right.
Ancient
and that's what we've got to pick up on, the vibrations, because you know that morning is sending out a certain vibration. Yes.
Vibration.
So that's why we say grand rising.
Now you're talking about your soul being risen.
Yeah.
Your chakras being energized.
There was another question. Someone's asking about the land. You mentioned something about the land. Let's see. The question that was in here. So it's about us reclaiming the land. Oh, here it is. What's the law of the land? And basically, how can we rectify this?
You have to make a claim to the land. And inheritance is the highest law on the planet. That when you are born, and this is the number one rule when it comes to birth, when you are manifested onto this planet or any planet, your feet touch the ground, that's land. Land is the first and number one thing you get as an inheritance. You may not get this inheritance from your grandma or your dad or somebody in the family, but your ancestors, they left you a gift. The gift is the ground. Each and every one of you, the way you look is a smile from the earth, because that's what she looks like. Every one of you is an image of her. So you are the ground. They call this whole entire universe the solar system. We are the only people on the planet with soul. Sunfire in your belly. This means what I'm saying to you in a nutshell is that not only is this planet ours, this entire whole solar system is ours. To regain the land back, it's called inheritance. How to gain it back? You have to create patents again like you used to back in the 1920s, back in the 1860s, back in the 1700s. All of you, and I mean this, each and every one of you had patents, like not one or two. I'm talking about like 20,000. Like 20,000 or 15,000 patents was a minimum. And every one of us had businesses. We didn't work for nobody else because we were not breaking the international law when it comes to trade. Right now, what we're doing as people on the planet, we're breaking the number one rule on the planet. My brother's my keeper. And we keep destroying that whole rule. And because we're destroying that rule, and I'm not on nobody's side, but I've heard this from other cultures. They say because we destroyed that rule, we've actually kicked ourselves out of the human family, and we cannot be trusted. Why? Because we do not truly honor our mothers and fathers. We don't truly honor our ancestors. We say we do, but we're not doing anything to really honor them in any way. We're not doing anything but shooting and killing and trying to drug each other up, prostitution, selling each other, trying to shove each other under the bus. And we call that respecting ancestors? Does anybody truly know what it means to honestly respect your ancestors and give them what they need? I'm not talking about offerings. I'm not talking about burnt offerings. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the earth that they gave to you. That's what honoring thy mother, thy fathers, so your days on this earth plane will continue. We don't think about property. We don't think about land. And when we do think about it, we're talking about buying it, but don't know that there's inheritance. When they took away our names, what they did was they split up our names. They took our inherited names, the Bay, the L, the Al. Some of you already have it in your names, like Alex, or Campbell, L, those are the inherited names. There's 5 names, and these names, you can find them in different countries too. Like, for an example, if you were to talk to me on the phone and didn't see my face or whatever, and I said, my name is Cameron Singh, you wouldn't have to ask me where I'm from, because Singh would have told you that I'm from India. It's the same thing in every continent. It's the same thing here in Africa. It's the same thing in America too. So the 5 names is your inherited names. When you attach those names to the name that your father gave you, now you are honoring thy mothers and thy fathers. And then you have rights to go in and get those inherited names. Article 1 of the United States Constitution, Section 10, talks about nobility and the nobility clause. No, the United States can't give you nobility. No country can give you nobility. Those names that are attached to your name, your father's name, give you the power of nobility. So when you look in the Constitution of the United States, Article 1, Section 10, it talks about nobility. It talks about the power of nobility. Each and every one of you are nobles. And that's how you get the land, by claiming the nationality as a noble and having your name, your inherited name, or names together, dad's name and mom's name. Everything on this planet is female and male. Come with the same attributes and you'll get back the energy, because that's what it takes to make people a life. Positive and negative. Always think positive and negative. All right. So to get back the land in a nutshell, get back your inherited names. Stop calling the names that these people are calling the countries. It's not the original names. None of these countries' names are older than 300 years. I dare anybody, I challenge anybody to study and find out what names on this planet are more than 300 years. And I guarantee you 100%, you're not going to find any of these country names. I don't care if it's Africa, Senegal, Nigeria. I don't care if it's in London, England, Spain. These names are not more than 300 years old. So you have to go back and find out what are the names. Why? Because I told you, it's about the name. So what they did was they took away our names and they changed the names of the original places. So when you went back now, you don't know that they already have a patent. They already have the patent and the copyrights to the names that you're calling. Okay? You're calling and pledging to names, and anything you say, it becomes law. So that's what they're doing. That's how they're making their money. They're making the money off of you saying that this is called Canada, or this is called whatever, wherever you are. Those are not the names. It's all about the names. That's what capitalism really is. Capitalism. Capitalism is them changing your name, giving you a nom de guerre name, which is a war name, and taking away your inherited name, so you can't inherit nothing. Teaching the people to be Negro or Black or nigger or Afro or American, all these different names, and that has nothing to do with them, And this is why we can't get it back. But to get it back, call the place the right names. Just like in The Wizard of Oz. I don't know if you all know about The Wizard of Oz. And when Dorothy was going, she wanted to go home. She told the what's it called? The witch of the East, the good witch. She said, the witch said, you can always go home. You always had the time to go. You could have went home anytime you wanted to go home. And she said, wait, what did I have to do? She said, all you had to do is call home. Call home and click your heels 3 times and call home. Home. Click, click, home. Click, click, home. And she was gone. She woke back up. She woke up out of this whole entire nightmare that she was in, and she was home. That's symbolism. And you need to look out for all of that, because that's, you know, the crazy thing about this is that the Europeans, they've been telling us the truth the whole time. They never lied to you, not once. The only thing they lied about is that you were enslaved. But everything else, you know, a lot of the stuff they're telling you through the truth to the TVs, through the movies, through the cartoons somewhere that a grown adult won't look. They're doing it in cartoons. It's all about your name and who you are. What's your inheritance? Who are your people? Here's one tip if you're taking notes. Europeans never owned any name or had any names. They are the Neanderthals, the caveman, the Negro troglodytes, known as the chimpanzee. So all they did through history is steal, and become whoever they stole from. So they don't have names. We're calling them European for now, so you have an understanding of what we're talking about. But even when you study some more, you're going to realize they're not even European. Mm-hmm. All right? So right now, we have the greatest opportunity to get back the land. Why? Because what happened in 2013. If you're taking notes, people, I want you to look up this document that Anna Von wrote. She's also a judge that quit and became a whistleblower, but she also became an assistant to the Vatican for Pope Francis. Pope Francis and the Queen got arrested back in 2011. You can find that case under the Kevin Annett case. Kevin Annett brought that case to the World Court. Excuse me. And they won the case, and they were charged with the death sentence. So that was back in 2011, and the case ended 2013. So I want you to look up the final judgment, civil order. The final judgment and civil orders. That came out April, probably 14th of 2013, 2014. You can find a series of them too, because one came out April, and then they amended it July and kept going through June. And that document is showing you that colonialism has ended back in 2013. A lot of Black people or people in general don't even know that colonialism ended. It doesn't feel like it ended, but it did end. And it's ended since 2013. Obama got a letter back in 2014 about this and was told to stop all of this, stop everything, like really put the lights out. But obviously they can't. So they had to make something up, like what you're going through, what we're all going through right now with the COVID-19, to make multiple arrests. I'm not down with them, but I agree with what Trump did. So peace to Trump. I hope he survives, because they've been trying to kill him 39 times. They try to kill this guy. But, you know, I'm not down with him. But what he's doing, he has no choice. And what you're going to see in this future, people, is that the world is actually being given back to you. But if you don't pick it up, if you don't pick up the ball, the Chinese, they have the rights to take, because they're the next heirs from us. They're our children. You have to understand, we made all these people, but the Chinese, they're closest to us when it comes to lineage or bloodline. I heard one of the brothers, the kings here in our chat right here, talk about the Shanga dynasty. That's actually our people. We're that. You know, so they're waiting for us to make a move. The world's waiting. Chinese president told us back in 2016, he said it straight out. He said, Black people need to wake up because we need your help. but we're not even listening. We're too busy doing busy and not understanding that the world's actually giving itself back to you. Like the world itself is actually coming back to itself. The only thing is right now, they're trying to destroy it because when I say you, I'm talking plural. So don't think I'm just talking directly to you, one. When I say plural you, I'm talking about myself also. All right? You need to get up and realize what's really going on, what's really the politics on this planet. Not Trump and Biden. That's soap opera stuff. That's not even the story. You have to know what's going on. You have to find out, why are they giving back the earth to the black people? Why is it up for grabs right now? You know, it's in our hands right now. It's just the people need to wake up, honestly, seriously, and wake up to understanding truly what is religion, what is civil law, what is international law, and what does it mean to be private and public? What is really capitalism? Those four things, you get that right, I guarantee you, king, queen, you'll have back the matriarch system that you always wanted, back. The matriarch system that's supposed to be back. I'm not supposed to be the leader because that's a man thing.
Right.
Queen, you're supposed to be the leader. Your people, your daughters, the sisters are supposed to be. That's what the matriarch system is. To bring it back to the beehive style of things, where the drones are the drones, and you got the champions, and then you have the queen and her princesses. All the come on now, bring it back to the hive. Bring it back, you know, and that's my duty. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to bring it back and try to educate the people. I have my classes every Saturday and Sunday online. Feel free if you want to come be part of the class. Class is free. It's just talking about and getting your mind to be erudited and not educated. Erudited, so you have more of a knowledge base, and it'll tie up a lot of things that even all of us study. There's no big eyes, no little T's. So let's be one again, a family, a unit. You know, there's so much ways to get and create money on this planet. There's so much ways to get the land, but it takes people. Where I am right now in Toronto, if I wanted to start, like we have, we already give out travel cards and stuff like that, and we have license plates. And I already talked to the whole of Toronto, the mayor and everybody, and they said, hey, if you can get like a couple thousand people, you run your place. We don't give a damn. You know, and they know that because we have already kind of established our own community here. I've gone down to Mexico. I just got back, and they're doing wonderful down there. They have their indigenous communities, and when I say indigenous, it's not no huts. I'm talking about when I went down there. I went on a street called Fifth Avenue in Punta Cana. I mean, not Punta Cana, in Cancun. Sorry, and it looked exactly like the Fifth Avenue in New York. Everything was just luxurious. And I was like, does everybody pay rent on this block? They're like, no. I said, you're lying. And the man said, yeah, come with me. And we went to every store down this street. You pay rent here? No, we're indigenous. We don't pay rent. Indigenous people don't pay rent. We don't pay mortgage. You pay mortgage? No, we don't pay. What's a mortgage? I don't know what a mortgage is. No, we don't do that here. So we need to get our people onto that. We do it in Mexico. We can do it here. This is why you've seen all those Mexicans coming up in the last couple of years, is because they've been fixing Mexico, and the indigenous people, they're not playing down there. They understand the game, and they regained the land back. The Mexican people are our brothers and sisters. So please do your history, because we owned Mexico first. The whole entire continent used to be called Amexum, and we're the real Americans. There's no such thing as European Americans. It's just like if you were to go to China and say that you're Chinese when you're not Chinese, and you couldn't be that. So correct your status and overstand that we actually have the power. You may not see it, and it may not look like we're having the power, but you really have to wonder, how come 81 to almost 200 celebrities are going to be going to jail, and not just celebrities, CEOs of companies, high elite, monarchy. How many of y'all know that Queen Elizabeth's dead? Like, this is the kind of news that's already out there, but people are too busy being busy. How many people know that I'm not even gonna go there because y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but there's a lot of people that don't even exist right now, and you have to look and start building your communities. One of our projects up here is that we're going to be building a gated community, because what I seen in Mexico made me want to go build a gated community to have our own security, have our own police and everything. What is necessary is to have that mindset of what little China would be. What little China would be. There's a little China in every major city in the world. Why? Because they're bringing international law, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're all lost in the sauce and not realizing that we're supposed to bring in our nationality everywhere on the planet. In every major city, we're supposed to have a Africa, or a little Jamaica, or a little Barbados. Little Ethiopia.
Liking the sound of that. Liking the sound of that. My brother, we got 15 minutes before the top of the hour. Let's get some questions, shall we, family? I mean, I could sit and listen to you for hours, but you do have classes, don't you? So before the end of the show, you know, you must give out your email address so people can, you know, contact you to get on your mailing list so they can get the links for those classes. Let's go around the panel, and then I'll go to the chat for questions, comments, thoughts. Brother Jammers, please, any questions, any comments on what you've heard from our brother?
Really, no, I'm going to hand it over to the brother because he's this is on point. The question was asked earlier, how do we move forward? This is how we move forward. The brother said it all. And as Prophet Kwaku done last time, I'll give him more time. So that's it. Thank you, brother, for giving us your
brother Jammers. Thank you so much. Over to Prophet.
Yes, it's greetings, brother Cameron.
Greetings.
Like Jammers, I'm gonna give way and let brother Cameron give him another 5 or 6 minutes because he just come. You know what I mean? I said enough already. If there's time left, I'll say something else.
Rise up, Prophet. Dr. Abu.
Good likewise. The floor is yours, my brother.
The floor is over to the brother. Okay, absolutely fantastic. Let's jump over to the chat. Ashani Peter says, if we claim Moorish nationality, what happens to our Jamaican one, for example?
But you were never Jamaican.
Hey.
One of the rules in nationality, to nationalize into a nation, is you have to take an oath. You all know that. If you want to be Canadian, don't you have to take an oath and a test? Right? That's standard. So let me ask everybody something. If you're born in Jamaica, what time and when did you take that oath to become a Jamaican? Just because they say this, is a dog born in a pig pen a pig?
No.
Not at all.
You don't hear dogs oinking. So no one actually took like everyone who says that they're born somewhere, they never took an oath to be part of that. So you couldn't possibly be Jamaican because you didn't take an oath, and you didn't do a thumbprint, you didn't do a test to become a citizen. And if you're Jamaican, and I'm just using Jamaica for an example, then you should have a national cards talking about that you are the humans, and you should have inheritance to land automatically because you're born in Jamaica, not buy land. Wherever your body is, wherever your mom live, wherever your parents live, that land automatically becomes yours because you're born here. That's one of the things you get is land.
Under what law is that, my brother? Please elaborate on that. So you're saying wherever we are born, we ought to automatically be entitled to land. I'm not sure if everybody knows that.
We're the only people on the planet that's entitled to land like that. Other cultures, like the Europeans, are not entitled to land like that. That's why they enslaved the people's minds. Okay? They're not entitled to land. And that's why they made the 14th Amendment to make sure that black people are not entitled to land neither. This is why they took away your name. because they know that the title to land is the biggest thing. They can't have Microsoft buildings on your land and make millions and billions of dollars a year and not give you some of this money, right? It's your land, and they're afraid that you'll go, wait a second, GM factory is on our land for 40, 20 years. Wait a second, this is our land. You know what, GM, you know you owe me and my family some cars now, because you've been digging out of the ground, taking all the iron out of the ground, taking all the metals and the material just to make the car itself off the land. So they're afraid that you're going to wake up and go, wait a second, where you get that plastic from? Where you get that rubber from? Because rubber don't grow rubber only grows in hot places. Where you get them rubbers from? Where you get oil from? That's from the land. Oh, okay, we're putting a lien against you. Put a lien, a $44 billion lien, because you've been here for this amount of time, and now we're enforcing the lien because this is our land. So you either have to give up some cars that you made or give up your business. It's called Monopoly. How many people here played the game Monopoly? Go and buy that game, because the man who made the game, his name is J.P. Morgan, and he made it to make fun of us because he put in a child's game to make sure that we wouldn't understand the monopoly that's happening on the planet. To play this game, it's a little different than the monopoly in the actual game. This game has the inheritance part of the game, where you automatically inherit those cards. Imagine you're playing Monopoly and you have those cards from the beginning of the game. You hear what I'm saying, family? You're supposed to have those cards again, because you never lost those cards. You're just calling yourself different things. Ghana is Timbuktu. 70 years ago, it was called Gold Coast. Go back and find out who you are and inherit the ground. Inherit the ground, that means you're taking everything that they have. There's no more crown land because the queen died. They're probably going to make that announcement maybe next year. They're slowly making announcements to who passed and all this stuff. Don't ever think that any of these people passed because of their health. None of these people are passing of health. They're passing because they're let's just put it this way. Since 2018, over 600 million warrants and arrests have been out since that time up until this very point right now. And over 500,000 have been caught already, put in jail, sentenced, and put in the earth. Please, my report to you is this, or what I'm trying to say to you is, please study the history, please study jurisprudence, know your inheritance, understand patenting, and get out of this system, or I don't mean to cuss, but the shitsum. Get out of it, because it's easy to get out of. If you live in Canada, Britain, United States, the islands, and you have what they call SIN or SSN, I think in the islands it's NIS backwards, SIN. Get rid of them, because those are all insurance policies on your head, and each of them, depending how old you are, is worth more than over millions of dollars, and they have it on your head. It's no different if I was to put an insurance policy on Shanice for like $20-40 million, and if she dies, I get paid. That's criminal, and that's not supposed to happen. And what you think is your social insurance number, it's an insurance policy, and it puts you in their jurisdiction. You have to learn to stop putting your businesses in their jurisdiction. Stop getting business numbers from them, BIN. Start doing everything international and foreign. And when I say foreign, I'm not talking about distance. We keep using the word foreign like foreign is far, but foreign could be across the street. Foreign could be just right over there. All right, so correct yourself and put the foreign jurisdictions, the businesses in the foreign jurisdictions, your licenses in the foreign jurisdiction. United States, they give out two types of passports. One is called the United States Citizen Passport. The other one is the American non-United States passport. Why they give out two is because that $1 bill, that pyramid on the $1 bill is the Moorish national seal. We are the mound builders. So start building and be creative again, like you always have. You never lost it.
Sure.
All right. So I know there's not
one question here. Now, you know, we often hear people say that we're one race. We're all the same, the human race. I wonder if you could break that down for us, please.
Well, one, we're not humans. Human means
that might come as a big shock to some people. So, you know, we were saying you're going to have to unlearn everything to relearn. You know,
yes,
what do you mean we're not humans? What do you mean we're not humans? What are we? We're not humans.
Because you have to look up the word human in etymology. So you want to study the science of etymology, where the words have its only meaning and only definition, not the connotative languages that we're speaking right now. There's two types of languages that we're speaking when it comes to English. One is connotative and one is denotative. You always want to look for the denotative language, the language that never changes. It doesn't change over time. You know, like how in the 70s, if I'm talking to somebody and he starts going, hey, you jive, turkey, and you jive, and he's doing all this, I know that he's still living in the 70s era, and whatever turkey means to him, that's what it means to him in social engineering. See, words do not change. And when you change the power of the word, you're changing the whole energy of the word and using it wrong. You know what I mean? So we are all Moors. Listen carefully, everybody. We are all Moors. Moors is a pedigree, just like canine. Canines are all dogs, wolves, dingoes, whatever, and they live all over the planet. No matter if it's cold weather, hot weather, don't matter. Moors is the pedigree of all man and woman on this planet. It's just we got stuck with the education system that the Rockefeller and the Gates family created, and we're calling ourselves human, which also puts us in under their jurisdiction. Because anytime you talk about anything color, like I'm black or I'm green, or you know what, I don't like light-skinned girls, you're putting yourself into what is called color of law. If you're taking notes, people, please look up what color of law is, color of authority, color of office. Because we're talking colors, they actually had to make up a law for people who talking in colors. And when you're talking in colors, you fall under the 14th Amendment, which is slavery, mental slavery, not physical slavery. Okay, because black people cannot be slaves. That's another thing. So,
we did have in the title, I know there's so much wrapped up in there, and we are just 4 minutes away from the top of the hour. Yeah. We did have in the title about who the real God is and the real Frankenstein. And I also wanted you to give us the acronym for God and Islam.
Can I jump in there, Sister Shanice?
Okay.
Yeah, I got one disagreement with brother. With due respect, beloved. Right. I don't agree with the terminology. We were all Moors. Moors is a word that came about around about 701 after the Common Era. Yeah, well, the Africans who invaded the Iberian Peninsula, Spain, Portugal, south of France, Tariq, Gibraltar. Yeah. The languages that we're using and the breaking down that we're dealing with is somebody else's language. It's, you know, English, and then English is an amalgamation of French, Germanic, and Latin and Greek. You understand what I'm saying? So for me personally, I'm trying to forward back to Cometian, Yoruba, Akan, you know, traditional African definitions and terminologies of things. So for example, we don't use the word God in traditional Africa. We call him Nkulukulum, Kwame Blafashe, Mungo, yeah, Onyeme, Amen-Ra. You know, these are words. Amen-Ra means the unseen light of the world. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't really kind of move. Yeah. I don't really kind of move with that kind of philosophy about that. I know that the language that we are communicating in is a language that was imposed on us. So for example, in no African language that is not been affected by a foreign language. There's no word for I might or maybe. It don't exist. It's either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. So when you hear our brothers and sisters from the continent speaking sometimes, you'll hear them speaking in their language, and then a word might come out, oh, might, and then they go back into their language. Because there's some words in traditional African languages you just cannot translate into English or into any other Eurocentric language. And I just wanted to disagree with you on that part with my brother.
No, we're allowed to agree to disagree, and that's good. So you're talking about a time period where we started calling ourselves Moors. You're right about that. But prior to that, the word Moor was Mu. And that was more ancient than anything. When you look in a lot of the texts, especially if you look in the emerald tablets for thought or thought, whatever his name is, or Thoth, you'll find out the place is called Mu also. And that's also when you
come to Uti. Uti. The scribe. Is a scribe you're talking?
Yeah.
The scribe, yeah? Yeah, his name was Teuti. Teuti.
Yes.
Thoth is the Greek interpretation of the word.
That's right. That's right. You're on point.
And Teuti was the one that documented all what was going on. He was the master. He was like Jammers. He was the master of words.
Yes. Yes.
Family, we
master of words, master of math.
Of the hour. Let me put it to the panel. Let me put it to the audience. Do you want us to go over? Shall we continue, or have you heard enough? Let me ask the panel first of all. How you feeling, panel? Should we continue? Should we? We normally just done it at the 2 hours, and we are 2 hours into the show now. Dr. Abu, what is it?
Continue, because we are saying that how can we move forward? And there's a lot of things that is holding us back, because one of the words that I try to move away from is this word Pan-Africanism. I am not a Pan-Africanist. You understand? Because most of them think that it's based on European pan, half man, half beast. And most of those scholars was coming from their university. You understand? You know, we can go back and look on a lot of things. And the reason why even the people on the continent doesn't gurgitate to it that fully, because Pan-Africanism to me is like the civil rights movement. As a white man, I would set up them thing the blood. Simple as that. And until we understand that, then we can never move forward on that. I am not a Pan-African.
That was one of the mistakes that Marcus Garvey made, and it's not a mistake he made. He was trying to make up for time, and a lot of people don't know the real history of how Marcus Garvey became even famous to our eyes, and it's sad because the doctor, he's absolutely right that we're not Pan-African, and that was actually made up falsely. And this is not to take away from Marcus Garvey, because he's actually one of my relatives, and in our family we talk about this a lot, because we always wondered how come the Garveys don't really, you know when you see award shows and the red carpet comes out, and the Jackson family, welcome coming down the stage is Michael Jackson's family, and everyone's like, yay. I always ask this question: how come we never see, like, Dr. King's family come in that fashion, or Garvey's family come in that fashion? And because we were talking about it like that, we just decided we seen that we didn't have none of the patents. A lot of the Garveyites have been using Marcus Garvey's images, his stuff, without even asking the family, and giving them a little dunga-lunga to make it, all right. But then look at the family to say, hey, help us, help us grow. And then we're like, how? When you guys keep squeezing the family, it's not a negative though. It's just it's kind of the Garvey's fault, because they forgot about patenting and having copyrights to names and copyrights to things, and making money on a worldwide scale. So in the last 8 years, we've been trying to help them put their stuff together. put back their patents, get back the patent from Carnival Cruises that took the patent from the family for the Black Star Liner. The Black Star Liner today is called Carnival Cruises, so we have to take back that patent from them. Okay, because they call it Carnival Cruises today, because that's what Marcus Garvey was doing. He was actually doing the same thing Carnival Cruises does today, back in the 1900s. So patents, we have to get them all back, and that's what we've been doing. We've been getting back our patents, getting back everything, so we can be on top of it. So the king is right. We need to start wising up and understanding much more about the history. So since we're on the time,
in the chat here on the history, it says the word African means to divide. The original name is Amexam. The word African is a bastardization of a Mexican. Please elaborate on that for us, my brother.
Well, it's not a bastardized word. Africa is not a bastardized word. The word is Latin, actually. Honestly, there's no such thing as Spanish, and there's no such thing as English. It's a Latin word, and all you're saying is land or territory. I don't know. Can anybody who speaks Spanish can confirm that for me, please? Because the word Africa in Latin, because it's a Latin word, it originated from Latin. It means land or territory. So when you go around the world saying, I'm African, what you're really saying is, I'm land, I'm territory, and not realizing that's Babel, because everywhere is land. Canada has land, so that's Africa too? Yes, it is. Okay?
So the whole world is Africa.
The whole world is Africa. The whole world is Africa. And that's what our problem is. We think that continent is the only piece. Come on, y'all. Go look at the globe.
So we own the whole world.
Can I interject? Here?
Yes, and then John.
There's a lot of semantics going on with words. The ancient Cometians, in one of their texts, had a word called Afrique. In one of their ancient texts. Not only that, depending on what civilization you was dealing with, would determine how they define the world that they lived in. So the Empire Monopotapa, that's what they would have just called the world, from where them see. Ancient Kemet would have called it Kemet, Sais, Alkebalan, Kush. You understand what I'm saying? So at no time, all different groups and different civilization would have viewed the world with a different name, so to speak. So you understand what I'm saying to you? So,
yes,
so it's not the Empire Ghana, Bueno Empire, Benin Empire. There's a lot of empires throughout the history of Africa. The Carthaginian Empire. Maybe they would have called the word Carthage at the time. You know what I'm saying? So the fact, for me, for now, Africa is the word I'm rolling with. For now. Because we know it's talking about 11.25 million square miles of land. That's the richest real estate on the planet. That's where everybody is siphoning off their material wealth. And not only that, their spiritual wealth. I must say, with due respect to my elder, Dr. Abu, totally disagree with you about Pan-Africanism. Totally disagree with you on that. Because it wasn't set up with the concept of something different. It was set up so the definition in essence is, doesn't matter where we are. Like Peter Tosh said, we're Africans. We have the same struggle of the Africans who were in the continent, in the Caribbean, in the Americas, here in Europe. We have the same struggle against the same adversary. And we're going to move as one.
I'm not fighting the word Africa. I'm fighting the word pan. That's the word,
Well,
pan.
Dr. Abu, that me de pan. Me de pan that.
Let me go to Jammers on Pan. My brother Jammers, wordologist as well.
But firstly, I want to go to a source about Africa. I want to go to a source. This is Latin book. Yeah, Lewis Short Latin book. Most of the words in Latin have been taken out of Oxford and Cambridge Latin. In this Latin book, it says Africa is a name given to the Roman by the Carthaginians. Africa gave the name to the Romans. We gave the name to them. It's been mixed up with the Latin word fricta, which means to break. So just like you've got New York, and then you've got the New York rioter who rioted in New York, we have Africa, and the people who broke up Africa, they were called African rioters, African fricta. So this is, so as I said, check it out if you can get this. This is a Latin book where it says the Carthaginians gave the name to the Romans. That's firstly. The second thing that we have to really realize is words, we create words to create a frequency and a state. We are not the words. We have to get back to the fact that we are above words. We word to make a note to create a frequency and a vibration. So someone will say Rasta, and we've created a whole vibration out of that word. Someone will say Pan-African and created a whole state of vibration out of that. We are above all of that. So what it is, we are the players of the music, but now we think we're the music that we play. So we are all, as a brother Cameron, we are all one people. But let's not distract by what respect.
Brother Jammers, let me interject with you. Even the word Rasta, when you break down the word Rasta in Kemetic words, yeah, Ra means the light, the creative, the first creator, yeah. Sa means son or se, yeah, to be daughter, yeah, and Ta is the earth, yeah. So it's the light son of earth. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so we can break these words down using our own, yeah, phonetics. What is it? Phonics and sounds. Because the Mede Nature, which is called, not hieroglyphic. Hieroglyphics is what the Greeks call it. The Africans call it Medu Netara. Yeah, meaning the words of the creators. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying to you, right? And it was they gave you symbols of animals and things like baskets and whatever it is for sound. So, for example, the if you was going to say the Egyptian alphabet, the earliest Egyptian alphabet, which there's others that additions to it, they never had no vowels. The vowels never, in pure consonants, they never have no vowels. There was no vowels in the word. So you hear us say Otep, which Brother Cameron was talking earlier on about good morning and things, and he was correct on that, because in traditional African culture, languages, nobody says good morning. There was the word that they would say to you, they say might say Nagadef. Yeah, in Wolof means how are you? Yeah, Eta say how are you? But when we translate in English, we're going to say it says good morning, or no, or we might say they will greet you and say may the creator be with you. So Otep, which would be Itepe, because there's no vowel. Itepe means Ayi Itepe means I greet you with divine peace. Yeah, or Itepe Eneke Je-A Senebe, which means I greet you with divine peace. May you have long life, stability, and good health. That's how Africans spoke, and that's how. And if you check Swahili and all them words, there's no real word for kind of like hello or good morning. It's may the creator be with you. May your journey be safe where you're going.
Yeah.
You understand me? But you know, hello, cause hell themselves is law.
Yes, yes. So there's a lot in the words, absolutely. And, you know, words are so important because, as has been said, you know, on a number of levels, there's the words in terms of the vibration, you know, the vibration that comes with the words, you know, so that's important, the way we express ourselves and the spirit that goes with the words that we use. I would imagine that is a language in itself, you know. So and then also this language that we're using today and the way it's been concocted to cast a spell over us, you know, which is very different from the African languages that you was pointing out, you know, which is different from this modern language that you're using. But let me move on, because there's so many other topics I want to touch on, or I'd like our brother Cameron to touch on. We haven't even broken down God. What is this with God, please, Cameron? Because we said in the title of today, who are the real gods? What do we mean when we use the word God? Can you advise on that, please?
The word God is G-O-D. Can be broken down in so many ways. It's in language, it's a natural German word. You're saying the word good, just one O less, and it's an attribute. It's an actual verb. You're godding. Godding is a verb. You can look this all up. It's an attribute that we all do. It's something that we do all the time. How to do godding? Godding is this. Whatever you're calling prayer, that's godding. It's just you're calling it prayer or praying, and that's wrong because you're not a cannibal, and you're not preying on food. And there's only predators that prey over their food. What you're doing is called godding. Your meditation and you being in meditation and invoking your dreams, invoking your spirits, that is called godding. Godding, God is also a plural because there's many gods. I can go to the native Indians that live on the reserve. They'll tell you how many spirits and gods that are in the bushes. I can go down to Africa, same thing. And the brother said the same. The king, I shouldn't call it brother, he's a king. He mentioned different languages that evoke God or the energy of, and they don't even say, just like he said, they don't say good morning. They don't say morning. They have total different languages that invoke certain things that are inside of you. One thing the Bible taught the people, and probably one of the only things I honestly agree with, is that God is you and you're the children of God. It's no different if you have children, like you have a son or a daughter. They are made after you and your spouse. You are made exactly like that. You are image of God. You have the power of God. Women, you are the creator. Believe it or not. If you don't want to believe me, I'm not here to make believers. I'm here to make people into knower or to scholars. Please research and find out that you are actually the highest creation on the planet, and you've been the creator. Men, you are creator too, but she's the creator of all things on the planet, and she needs to come back to who she is. One thing, when I say that to some people, or when I'm saying that, a lot of people from like the Christian faith or the Muslim faith are like, oh, that's blasphemy. You're calling yourself a god? Yeah, I'm here on earth. Oh, no, you shouldn't do that because that's blasphemy. There you go. Netter. See the word netter? That's actually the word nature also. God is in each and every one of us. It's just we've been dumbed down to the point that we are only watching sports now. Or anytime you want to call me, you have to actually dial my phone number. You can't even just go, okay, and I feel you and I call you. Right? You know that feeling you get when you say, man, I need to call Shanice. Let me call her. And you call her and she says, oh my God, I was just about to call you. That's the telephone line you're supposed to get back in tune with. This is called technology. It's called tech knowledge. We have to get rid of that because it's really truly dumbing us down more and more every time. Our medical physical powers of who we are only displayed in sports and things like that, in comic books. Like for an example, who's that tennis player? Venus Williams, what's her name?
Serena Williams, Serena and
Serena, right? She's been playing tennis for 20-something plus years. 27 years she's been a champion. For 27 years. Okay? Now you tell me what sport you know goes for 27 years plus and you're a champion of it every year for 27 years. Not even basketball's like that. But she's been a champion of tennis for 27 years and everybody looks at that as, oh, she's black, she's good. But don't realize, no, she's superwoman. Y'all play tennis. Try play one game of tennis and try to be a champion of that. And she's a champion 27 years. Michael Jordan, he showed you how to defeat gravity back in the 80s. Okay, this dude jumped from the middle of the arena just to dunk a ball. But everyone looked at that as he's black. We're supposed to do that, and not really realize that that's part of who you are, metaphorically and super. You know the whole story about Superman, where he comes from another planet and all that stuff. Did you know that they got that story off of you? They researched who you are and found out that you're not even from, some of you are not even from this planet. And they did the whole cartoon or the whole comic strip based off of who you are. Superman gets strong in the sun. So do you. So do you. There's a geode on this planet called Movodite, which is our kryptonite. It's on this planet. You're super strong, fast, everything. It's just you think that those are comics. Wonder Woman, you think those are all comics? Flash, you think those are all comics? They're talking about you. They're making millions and billions of dollars. What's his name that died the other day that made what's his name that made Marvel Comics that died? He made millions and billions of dollars on movies and comics, all talking about you and stories about you, ancient stories that he went and found about our cultures and who we are as a people on the planet. But then when we look at the comics and go, that's for some white boys, or my son, he loves comics, we'll let him have that, and not really realize they're always talking about you. On this planet, it's a love-hate relationship. Yeah, they hate us, but at the same time, they can't wait to be us. They've been being us for 150 plus years. They talk about us in stories. They put us in magazines. They talk about us in all kind of ways. All the research on the planet is about us. All the technology that you see, the phones, the cars, is because they are mimicking who we are. We don't need a car. You don't need a plane. You don't need none of those things. You think you need those things because you're dumb. We're dumbed down. We're dumbed down. It was never like that thousands of years ago. It wasn't like that not even 100 years ago. 500 years ago. When we were doing voodoo, voodoo, we were doing Santeria, we were doing Obia. You think that's not magic? Or you think it's evil stuff because that's what they're telling you today. You don't think those are part of you? You don't think that the sun is part of you? You not know that the moon is yours? Especially the women. The moon is, we have a lot to come and learn about our physical bodies and who we are on a higher level than what you know now. You know, I yield the floor right now. We have so much to learn about the medical physical body. This body that when you go underwater, it actually changes into an aquatic suit. You know, when your fingers are wrinkled and your feet are wrinkled, that's an aquatic suit. That means that's the grip that you can use underwater. You don't even need a water suit. You have to learn to breathe again underwater like you did in the womb. You forgot how to do that? You're supposed to be able to breathe underwater. There's too much. I yield the floor.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Stan Lee, mate.
Oh, sorry, my brother.
Yeah.
Dr. Abri was signaling to come in.
Oh yeah, go on, doctor. Go on, true.
God is one of the most evilest entity on this planet. Evil entity. You understand? You know, I tell you the truth, you know, God is even more wickeder than the devil, blood. And the truth, me I tell you. You know, see, you turn the word devil around and you get live. You know, what I'm trying to make you understand. When we was on the plantation, we have a word called Massa God. You understand? That's what the white man want. That's why George Bush said, going into Iraq is my God-given right. That's the entity of European, and them use God. You understand, to do all of them wicked things. So as I said, this is me. I tell you that if me go downstairs and my woman tell me said she find God, me find my bag immediately.
Rise up, Dr. Abu. We hear you on
Abu. My wife just put her muscle in her chest, but you kill her with joke around here.
Brother Jammers, you wanted to come in.
I just want to back up what the Dr. Abu said in relation to your question. God is aversion. I want people to look up what aversion is. AVERSION. It's aversion therapy, where you cause discomfort to your natural behavior by putting a cause to it. So basically, it's a dislike of our ancient teachings. This is what God invokes by us. And it's a European concept, as Prophet Kwaku said. We got to go back to our ancient, as Cameron Bay said, our ancient notes to call on our ancient vibration. This is a German creation from Göttingen, German University in Göttingen, and as Cameron Bay says, it's a transitive verb. It can't exist without another object, so it's a nothing. It hasn't no solid object. It means to call. It means to invoke. It has no solid up. So we have to throw this God away. Look at the word God backwards. It's the word dog. The Romulus and Remus were brought up by the wolf, the dog. So, and as Abu said, they've reversed the scripture. If you look at the word God, you look at the word devil, you reverse it, you see how the dog lived. They were nudists. They were nudists. When you find out where the snake hid, they were naked. Look at the word snake, you see the word naked in it. So basically, they've reversed the whole scripture. We need to go back to how we lived, and then we'll find out who we are. So we have to throw away this God concept, because it's what they used to create the Frankenstein monster, us. We have to leave that alone. Thank you.
And to expound on the doctor's point there, when you said that the Europeans, it wasn't the Europeans who gave us that. What they did was, and I agree with you, they changed it up, what God is, and it became an acronym. And you put it up, you had it up earlier on, where it said government, ordinances, and departments, or right, devices, directives. Yeah. So that's what God means today. It actually is that. You know, it's the government and ordinances and departments that they have that we didn't know that are governing the world. The world is being governed by the dead and the alive. It's just the people didn't know that, and they need to come to that realization. So on that level, on that angle of doctor, yes, because they did change. And I agree with Jammies too. I agree with all y'all. It's just they changed over time because of social engineering. They changed the vibration of it. We're supposed to be using it to evoke things, but because of where we are in time right now, they are doing what is called government, ordinances, and departments, which is the unum sanctum military operations that they've been doing since 1860, 150 years ago. So we have a lot of learning to do. We have to realize that we're actually under war right now, and this is World War III that we're in. It started back in 86. World War III started in 86.
I want to jump in there, Brother Cameron. Dr. Chancellor Williams quite correctly told us that we've been fighting a war for 6 millenniums, not since 1868. We've been fighting them from the first time they invaded Kemet. Yeah, we've been fighting these people. This is why we find ourselves in the situation that we're in. We're the only people on the planet that been fighting a war for that length of time. It took them that length of time to get into the continent and take over the control of the resources. And the most important resource they took control of was its people and their mind. So when Dr. Abu, you're saying, Masa God, if we break, see, I always want to go forward back to Cometian alphabet and theology, because Ma means to see, Sa, son. So if we're saying that these people are our children, then when we say Ma, say my son, where you do? You understand what I'm saying to you? So we can, I always break down the words using the Cometian theological philosophy and the breaking downs of words. Ma is to see and Sa is son. You understand?
Rise up.
Let me hold on 1 second. I just want to expound on prophets. I don't disagree with you, but what I'm saying is that yeah, we've been fighting them for through galactical time. When you talk about the galaxy time, then yes, I agree with you that we've been fighting this entity for millions of years. But it's the hybrid Europeans that we invented that took Europe from us January 1st, 1492, their access year. And this is why there's 2,020 years that's gone by so far. So it's only been 2,020 years that we lost Europe. And then 150 years ago, we lost United States and all of the Americas, including Africa. So when you say the time frame, I agree with you, because there's a galactical time that the people are not, galactical history that the people on the planet are not familiar with. So I agree with you on that part. But you have to realize they're using the access time of 2020, which was 2,020 years ago when they took away Europe, January 1st, 1492, and we lost Andalus, the Red House. When we lost the Red House, they came and attacked and took the White House from us. Those are the two palaces that we lost, and we need them back. 2016, Michael Obama, went and got back the Red House for us, and we're ready to go get the White House. And we're gearing up on our knowledge right now to go back and get our White House, which is our palace.
You just dropped something else in there that we picked up from the show this morning. When we celebrate the 1st of January, New Year, when we celebrate New Year, it's like it's like turkeys celebrating Christmas. Tell us why that is, please, my brother Cameron.
All the holidays that we celebrate is somewhere in our positions in history, the Earth's history, where we fell. For example, St. Patrick's Day was the time when we got kicked out of Europe, out of Ireland and Scotland. Then Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is the carving of the turkeys, which is the original name of Virginia, United States, is Turkey. And when they invaded us there, they were killing us on it every day. It was a mass. It was like a purging every day. Look up the history of the Niagara movement, where they cut off 50,000 women's heads and threw it over the falls and called it Negro Falls or Niagara Falls. They're doing this massacre all over. They bombed Tulsa, Oklahoma. They hit New York, Philadelphia. They just attacked everywhere. It was so bad that they went to Lincoln and said, Lincoln went to them. Lincoln went to them and said, you guys got to stop this. Canada, you pick a day for your holiday, and United States, you pick a day. So, and this is why Canada has a totally different day of Thanksgiving than the US. It has nothing to do with pilgrims. That pilgrim stuff, that's when they first came. Okay, it's when they got into killing and murdering and taking the US from us. It was called Thanksgiving, and Lincoln had to stop that. Lincoln had to come in and step in and say, you know what, you guys stop murdering these people. Okay, they had enough. They had enough of the murder and the hanging and the barbecue, the picnic. These words came from us being crucified and tortured here on our own land. The houses that we're calling plantations, that was your house. They came to your house and said, you the dad? All right, you're the butler. You, ma'am, you're going to be the maid. Oh, you have a son? We'll call him boy, because boy means slave or Slav. It's another word for slave. And the girl, they prostitute her and sell her off. It was your house, your name. If you were the banker or owned the bank in the town or the city, because we only had cities, they would take your name and become the banker. Do the history. You're going to find out a lot of them were all named John, and they had to take your name. That's where John Doe and Jane Doe came from, because they had to take your name in order for them to be wealthy. If you had a gas station, I'm just saying gas station, just hypothetical. If you had a gas station where they came and say, "Ooh, give me that patent to the gas station. What's your name, Robinson? You ain't Robinson. I'm Robinson. Your name is John."
Pano, I got to leave now, yeah?
Rise up, Prophet. It has been a pleasure having you. We have gone well over time. You know, the family in the chat was saying, keep going, you know. So we have kept going for an extra half hour. And I thank you, Prophet Maduti, for staying with us for that time. Do you want to leave a closing word?
Yeah, I just want to say, may the creating force of the universe, the omnipotent being that which greater than ourselves, who has many names, grant us peace, direction. Umoja, it's good that we're connecting with our brothers in the Canada and all around the world. They can't stop us. We are the original earthlings.
Definitely. Just to let you know, next week,
earthlings.
Next Strong, just to let you know, we've got a brother from the United States of America, Franklin Jones, author of the book, The Black Matrix, deals with, you know, the psychology of the mind. It's going to be another powerful session next Strong. So, Prophet Maduti, hope you'll be able to make it back next Strong. It's always beautiful having you on.
Divine peace, long life, stability, and good health. Fudum.
Voodoo, rise up. Thank you so much. So family, we will be winding down now. I know you all must be getting quite tired, but you know, and there's so much learning. Something else I picked up from you very recently, Brother Cameron, was that Islam is an acronym. Can you please just share that with us, my brother?
It's the same thing like we were talking about with the word God, how it meant government ordinances and departments is, right? It's the same thing with the word Islam. It's not a religion like people think it is. Islam is the science of nature. It means I, self, am law and master, meaning that you are to master the art of nature, master yourself and who you are inside and who you are metaphysically. You're supposed to master that. That's what life is about. Life wasn't supposed to be we come here and we start paying bills and we're learning that we're in debt and we're gonna run around all this. That's not what life is. That's not even nature. That's not natural. You didn't come here to do that. You came here to fix the earth and keep the earth always clear. And your energy and who you are to have that experience of who you are as a sign. Like if you're Aquarius, you're supposed to enjoy the sign of Aquarius and learn what an Aquarian does until you pass and remember that you did that. So when you get to your next life, you're going to remember the next life and use what you did in your last life to fix this life. You're supposed to learn all 12 of the signs and know their attributes and live how they live. Yes, you're going to have to live broken once in your life. You're going to live broke. You're going to live rich one in your lives. You're going to live raped. You're going to live not raped. You have to live everybody's feelings on the planet along with your sign. When you can conquer that, then you've conquered it and you can become now a planet. That's how planets are made.
Wow.
It's like the word ta'azan. Taken from the word azan.
Yep.
You know? When a Muslim them call to prayer, then Tarzan go and call the animal then to kill them. None.
So in the Muslim world, when they call to prayer, they call it azan, do they?
Azan.
Yeah.
But what them do them? Because the whole thing is to show you the hypocrisy of the Arabs. Because the Arabs will kill you to create a picture, but they don't go and kill Hollywood to flange the Azan. Because they are they are not the custodial owner of Islam, They are just data. Simple as that.
That's what this is all about. It's all theater. It's all theater. And because the people love it, because we're born on drama. We love drama. People love drama, period. I don't care what level of drama it is. We're born on drama. So we always want more, and that's what they're giving us. And that, so our attention is we're not looking at the right thing. We're not seeing the right picture or hearing the right stories because our attention is somewhere else. Our attention is on Trump and two white guys, two Europeans that are trying to steal our state from us, and we're worried about who's going to be the guy who out of the two is the best going to steal the planet from us again. Wow. That's what we're worried about.
Wow.
That's crazy.
This goes to show the extent to which we're not in our right mind.
We're not in our right mind.
Discussions are so important because it's to get us back to the right mindset, because once we've got the right mindset, then we'll know what to do. Then we'll know what actions to take. Until our mind is right, then we're constantly just going to be acting out the nonsense that's in our mind. So Jammers, you wanted to jump in here?
Yeah, I just want to say another thing that we got to just bear in mind is that there's different levels to language. There's the common language, there's the administrative language, you've got the creative language, but then got what Cameron Bay is saying is the language of law. So when we're discussing, sometimes we're jumping from one part. We're talking creative when we're supposed to be talking law. We're talking common when we're supposed to be we're talking administrative. So we have to bear that in mind. There's different levels of language, and sometimes we drop from one level to the other. But as I said, Cameron Bay is giving us the law, and this is where we need to get that part of us into our cranium. And to share like that. Respect.
Yeah. Respect indeed. Family. Dr. Abu, yes.
I just want to say, it's a pleasure meeting the Cameron, and we have to continue this.
Same here. I apologize. I wish I came here earlier, man.
I got here late and I'm in this country.
Yes, you all need to get here on time. Our audience is here on time, and they've stuck with us. We've got 163 in the house still. Family, if you haven't given us a like, please do, so that more people can get to find this video. My brother Cameron, we're going to have to invite you back. There's so much more I know that you've got inside of you that you would wish to pour out, and that's why you do these weekend classes. So family, if you want to hear more from our brother Cameron, he does a class on a Saturday and Sunday, 1 p.m. EST time. That's 6 p.m. I think that's 6 p.m. GMT time. Okay, and there's a telephone number there for the teleconference. Okay, so make sure you tune in. I'm on the mailing list, so I get links to the class. Make sure you get on the mailing list as well. My brother Cameron, is there an email address that you can put out so people can contact you?
Yes, you can contact me at moorhouselaw@gmail.com. Moorhouse is spelled MOOR, house HOUSE, law at LAW@gmail.com. Also, if the phone number doesn't work for people that don't live in Canada, you can get on our online school by going to uber.com/NobleDrew all one word. uberconference.com/NobleDrew We're in class every Saturday and Sunday, like the Queen said, and we're just talking about history, law, and what to do to go move forward. When you know how to move forward, when you have the critical thinking to move forward, you don't need no class. I just give you to understand that you have the power. And that's the part that is most important. And when you know that you have the power, your critical thinking comes out automatically, and nobody can stop that. So peace and love. I hope everybody enjoyed tonight. Let's learn and relearn what has been never taught to us.
Ashe. Thank you so much. Dr. Abu, rise up, big up every time. Brother Jammers, thank you so much. Hope you'll both be joining me next strong again with our guests from America, none other than Franklin Jones. Brother Cameron, you know we've got to have you back again, my brother.
Anytime.
Thank you so much.
When we get through this lockdown, we have to invite him over, you know, see it, because that's the whole thing about got to have Brother Cameron. You know?
You see, it's only locked down if you say it's locked down.
That's right.
But you've always been free. It's just it's not enough people who understand that, and you don't want to be the one person doing it by yourself. But every one of y'all is not locked down. That's a mental thing that they put on the people. All right. So let's survive this and get out of this and keep creating.
Definitely. And to the family in the chat and to all of our viewers, we thank you all so much for your interaction, for your contribution, for your messages throughout the show. We thank you all so much. Keep rising, family. We are creative. We are inventive. Wonderful people. Keep rising to the top. And remember, as you rise, we all rise. I rise, you rise. As you rise, I rise. So let's rise each other up. More love, more strength, more budum. One love.
One love.